Snake. You know who that is?
You're kidding, right? It's
Mario! King!
All right. I think, I'm gonna, during this time that I have off of work to heal, ugh, I'm feeling actually pretty good today. Back feels better than it has the last couple days. I think during this time while I have off of work, I'll probably make an introduction to the stream, a proper one. Um, I haven't done that, and I've been looking to do that for a little while now. So I think since I have the time, I can probably do that. On top of course, finishing some other videos. But happy Saturday, okay? I don't normally come at you guys on a Saturday, but I'm here. I know Saturdays are busy. A lot of people are probably gonna watch it back as they normally do. But as promised, I said I would try to do another stream to talk about the best chapters. Okay, the best chapters through the war arc. So for those who don't know what the war arc is and where it starts at chapter 551, which I'll pull up on the screen. It starts at chapter 551 for Tower of God, where Zahard basically, counts on Traumarie to basically start the war. To basically say, hey, this is when the war starts. This is when I want you to go. Um, I want you to go handle Gustang. I want you to go handle his people. Um, yeah. So we had 100 chapters. Okay, 100 chapters of the war arc. A hundred chapters. 100 chapters. All right. Let me pull it up real quick for you. So we had 100 chapters. Okay. The Declaration of War. Poe Bidal versus Lobo Pia. Okay. All right. That is when it started. So we had exactly 100 chapters from now to go through where everything started. What's up, Zenu? Um, we had exactly 100 chapters for the what I would call the war arc between Lobo Pia versus Poe Bidal. Um, so it has been overall as like I'm not talking about season three as an arc. I would say Lobo Pia versus Poe Bidal 7.5, 7. Like really good, really solid in a lot of places. There are some things that were kind of draggy that I have to bring points down for because of the time period and there were like setup chapters behind setup chapters behind setup chapters that made it a little bit slow. But overall, like if you go back and read it right now, you wouldn't think that way of it. Like it's actually pretty good if you read it all cohesively. But that's just not how the content is like released. So I have to take points off for how it's released. But if you go back and read it consistently, then yeah, it's pretty good. There are some major gaping holes and problems. Like I think everybody had problems, with different things. Like me, the Dumas versus Bomb fight was very underwhelming. The way that Bomb technically won, and then when I have to do this, that's when it's weird. Like won the fight, like in quotations, won the fight. Um, yeah, that wasn't satisfying. Um, I really feel like AA Rack and even Rachel's inclusion in this arc was unnecessary. I agree, Zenu. I agree. Rachel's participation in this war was very underwhelming. It was very underwhelming. And Rachel is one of my favorite characters, so that kind of breaks my heart a little bit because we've talked about it before in the past, me and in the community, how Rachel hasn't been super duper relevant in a long time. So with this chapter, excuse me, with this arc, when she finally got her moment, like her moment was when she captured Hawa Ryun and she threw her on the ground, and she had the one dude punching her and abusing her. That was like a Rachel moment. Like, oh my god! Like, I remember when that chapter came out, people were fucking they were pissed. They were pissed like shit that Rachel had Hawa Ryun like hung up like that, and they were punching on her. What chapter was that? I'll pull it up for y'all real quick for those who may not remember, um who may not remember that whole thing. I know it's a significant moment. I know Hawa Ryun's like a massive favorite in the community in general. I don't really like her, but I know a lot of people do. That was a moment. Like, that was truly a moment. That's 588. That was 588. 588. Yes, I know. Zeno, I know you on top of it. I know you on top of it. And that was towards the end of the chapter too. Um, yeah, this whole thing, her getting tossed aside, getting punched on, getting bloodied, yeah, I people were hating this. Like, people hated that. People hated that. Um, and this is where I thought, like, okay, Rachel's like, she's gonna have a moment, and she did kind of preface the Enkidu thing where she went in with the fake bracelet, or whatever, but it didn't amount to anything. Like, of course, Enkidu got released, but ultimately Gustang didn't really do anything with him. Like, Enkidu was kind of being a dick, and Gustang damn near almost killed him. So it was just kind of like it was a moment, but it wasn't a satisfying moment. And even her participation with Enkidu stuff after, where she was like toward the tidbit ends, it kind of feel like her and Hayura got kind of sprinkled in at the end there with just like a little bit of relevancy, but it wasn't significant. It wasn't like their being there wouldn't have made much difference. You understand what I'm saying? So I am very disappointed in Rachel's participation in this war, where she seemed like she was so important to the Pobidao family. I know a lot of us thought that Emily would become a big factor here. I know a lot of people talked about like Emily being able to be used here. It just it didn't do much. It didn't do much. So that's like a thing I have to take points off for, because regardless if people agree with it or not, Rachel is an important and one of the key characters in the story, and she's here. I would get it if she was like Wang Nam, if she like he's not here, so he's not going to be relevant. But she's here. She's in the arc. She's in the vicinity. So she should play a role, but she didn't. It was a very minor role. So it sucks. So I had to take points off for that, okay? At least a half point for that. Um, and what you guys saying? CU has an habitation putting characters in chapters whether they need to overstate or welcome. True. Enkidu existed to give us a flashback and remind Trauma and Weeze. That's it. Yeah. Basically, Enkidu got packed up, bro. He just got packed up. Like, I see Rachel and Emily being saved for later, but overall disappointed in Rachel's role in this arc. Yeah, it was underwhelming. It was, especially when she kind of got redrawn and reworked, and like she even is like a little bit decent looking now, even though her chin sharp as fuck in this panel. But and you guys understand what I'm saying. Even her seeing Bomb, even her being in the vicinity with V and not reacting, like all that shit is underwhelming as fuck, bro. Like it's just underwhelming. Like I'm very sad about that. Another critique that everybody kind of universally had is the fight between Gustang and Traumery. It was a little underwhelming. And I made the argument in Naya's stream that a big part of that is the setting. The setting was very, very underwhelming because it was a bunch of floating space. So it's hard to tell the destructive nature of people's attacks and abilities when you're in a giant floating space of fucking air, okay? That's like one thing that's happened with this entire season, damn near. Giant floating spaces in air. Just not just super duper not, like just not okay. Setting has been setting has been one of the most terrible things about this entire arc. It's been going like in the war. Like the Sprout is okay as a setting. Like the Sprout is okay, but where the important things happened in the open space, underwhelming as fuck, bro. Just the floating in air, like the Lustlike versus Urek fight was in floating air. Obviously, we Gusting and Traumary, just underwhelming. Like the Dumas and Bombs fight was okay where it happened. Like that actually was a decent setting where it happened inside of Dumas's heart. Like that's actually pretty cool if you look at it in the grand scheme of it. But like that fight was ass, so it doesn't matter. Like the fight was fucking dookie, so it doesn't matter. And you know that's one thing I really appreciate about the one thing I appreciate about this last chapter that we just got, that's kind of introducing us back into the tower. It's on the pirate ship. It's on like a bed of water, a pirate ship. Like that's the Tower of God that people compare, it to One Piece with its world building. Like that was cool. Like I don't think it may be one thing that people overlooked, but I think all of you can agree with me who's going to watch this back that one of the coolest things about this previous chapter was that they were on a bed of water on pirate ships fighting. Like what the fuck is that about, right? Like but that's the coolness about it. Like setting matters where you're doing battle. So when we see that, it feels a little bit more explorative, right? It feels like the world's a lot more bigger when you're doing stuff that way. So that was one thing that was kind of dissatisfying with this whole, war arc, is that floating space part of the Sprout, that like it was like it wasn't that good, So look at Urek's attack on Flora Death. You can see the scale of the attack. You're right about the floating space. Yeah, like floating space is just, with floating space, Zenu, that's why you get that noise. That noise aspect of Shinsu just flying all over the place and taking over things. When you don't have a proper setting, that's when we get that real wacky fucking art when he does that shit. And don't get me wrong, like that helps scale the ability when they're using their stuff, but it's just not pretty to read and look at, when you're reading it on your phone and shit. So, all right, okay, now you have to make a whole hour screen on why you don't like certain characters. I mean, I could do that. I could do another stream maybe next week or something about characters that sucked throughout the arc, because best believe I have a lot of them. Okay, Auntie. So, well, good morning. What's up, Auntie? How you doing? I think the fights in the hotel arc were the most solid fights in the season. It was enclosed space with characters using the environment. Exactly, Zenu. That, as I said, setting is one of the most important places in an entire in story in general, but especially in fights. So I think that's why the Gustang and Traumary fight was a little underwhelming. So with that being said, that was the most important fight throughout the whole arc, and I think we all can agree it underperformed. Like if I had to rank, like if you guys, and even for the people who are gonna watch this back later, and plenty of you do, a lot of you do, tell me your rating for the Gusting versus Traumary fight. Like, what do you rate that fight overall from start to finish? I would give it like a 5. Like it was decent. It was decent, but it wasn't great. It wasn't great. It was barely good. Okay, and you can account that to Gustang's abilities or Traumary's abilities. I don't know if I would necessarily blame their abilities for it, because their abilities are what their abilities are going to be. But you have to write it in context around where they're fighting and make it look good. So like one good thing I can say, right? Because I'm not going to be all negative here. The god thing that Gusting summoned, the Unos guy who basically like sucked all the air out and shit, that works in a floating space because you can get this. It's air, it's floating space, so you can see the destruction of the things that he's sucking in. So it works in that environment, and you can summon something like that in that environment. It works there. That's okay. But everything else is kind of like you're just summoning. Like what people commonly said for this arc. With the common thing is that it was a Pokemon battle. Okay, it's a Pokemon battle, and that's what it felt like. I summon this, you summon that. I summon this, you summon that. And, Gustang is the only one who got physical. Now, I know people were critical of Gustang's abilities throughout this, entire fight, but I need to do remind people that Gustang's the one who got physical, okay? He's the only one who was throwing hands and feet. Chonburi wasn't throwing hands and feet. Chonburi is shooting Shinsu. He using his dragons. He using that crazy beast that he summoned. He's the one that's making this more of a Pokemon battle. So you can criticize Gustang for his abilities. I get it. But the man was the one throwing hands. And that's why I was a little bit he's the only one that's kind of making this a little bit more personal. When you're slamming the oak bee into Chonburi's face and breaking his mask, that creates the tension and the ferocity of the fight when you do shit like that. When there's Shinsu flying all over the fucking page and giant things happening, they're just dodging all over the place, bro. They're just dodging all over the fucking place. Literally. It's like any of you guys who watched Dragon Ball Z before, right? Blasts are cool up until they get overdone, okay? Blasting beams are cool until it's not, okay? If there was a fight in Dragon Ball Z that was all blast, guarantee it would be ridiculed to this day about how shitty it was. You have to get in somebody's face. You have to throw hands. You have to dodge and land punches and kicks and shit. That was and that was all Gustang. That was Gustang doing that. So I thank him for that part of it, because if other than that, it would have been just Shinsu, animal, giant fish, swordfish, alligator, all that shit, bro. I enjoyed the balance and strategy scale. I can get that, E-Rock. It was a lot of strategy to it, and I can appreciate parts of it for sure. This arc, it was one of my favorite arc. Understandably so. Overall, the arc was solid. I'm not shitting on the arc. The arc was pretty damn solid. It was good. I would give it on the cusp of great. It wasn't outstanding or anything, to really lose my mind over. But I think it was on the cusp of good to great. Yeah, I would definitely put it there. Chonburi vs. Gustang is a 7. I wish they engaged in hand-to-hand combat for a bit. Right, and that's what I was getting at, Zenu. Chonburi's creatures added a lot of noise at the very start. It was clutter. Yep. Come on, the fight between Urek and Leslie was dope. No, and I agree with you, Auntie. I agree with you. That fight was fantastic. But I'm saying the fights happening in just open space where they're just flying, bro, it's just kind of you just never going to understand the scale of the power and abilities that we're seeing when it's just a blank page, so that's all. But I'm talking about the Chonburi and Gustang fight, not the Leslie and Urek fight was great. It was one of the best fights of the entire arc, for sure. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. The characterization that we got from Chonburi and Gustang during that fight was better than the actual fight itself. I absolutely 100% agree with you. Urek's interference, although I don't mind it, is a cop-out for showing us who'd win. I agree with you, Zenu. I agree. And I need CU to understand that he cannot continue on that path. You cannot continue on that path. That's okay for right now, but guarantee as we get deeper and deeper into the series, with family heads starting to probably get active, and we're probably going to see a lot of active family heads now. We might see the actual rankings of people with these next couple of chapters, but you cannot have fights come to a draw between the top dogs. Somebody has to lose. Somebody has to get their ass beat. Somebody has to get there needs to be a difference here. There has to be a clear winner and loser. You cannot do fights like that. You can't. There are too many. I understand these people are high scale, but there are still people who are better than others, and you have to pick a winner and a loser. So in this instance, we assumed that Urek would do this. So it's okay because we assumed it. He was already a part of the arc. But as we go further in this, you can't have draws and you can't have people interrupting the fights, bro. It can't happen. It can't happen. It can't happen. He cannot continue. He can't do that. If you're gonna do it, it has to be once every 100 chapters or something like that. You can't have that shit happen, bro. Because I need you guys to actually think about it, right? How many fights this arc ended in a draw? How many fights ended in the draw this arc? Lust Like an Urek ended in the fucking draw. Traumery and Gustang ended in a fucking draw. Bomb and Dumas technically ended in a fucking draw. Like, you can't do that. You can't keep doing that. For the sake of the plot, you're drawing fights. That's not gonna work, bro. That's not gonna work, bro. That's not gonna work. You can't do that. And I'm going to get into my favorite chapter because that's what this whole stream is about. I'm going to start with my chapter. If you guys have not posted your favorite chapter, your least favorite chapter, and your favorite panel, please do it in the community post now. Okay? In the community post now. Or in the Discord. Do it now if you haven't done it already. Because I'm going to start with mine first. And I'm going to continue to the Discord. Look in the Civil War thread to see who posted theirs. I know Zenu, I know you posted yours, and I did look a little at it. I didn't look at the panels and stuff, but I did look at it. But I know a lot of people haven't. So for this stream, in order for this stream to be entertaining, people need to post their stuff. Otherwise, I can only milk this for so long, right? But I'm gonna start with mine. So I'm gonna read a couple more things, and I'll start with my stuff. If you could pick Rachel's 3 wishes, what would you have her ask for? Or if you were Rachel, this is the question goes to everyone. It depends on what we're talking about, Sleepy. Like, we have to understand what the nature of the 3 wishes are. Like, are they 3 actual wishes that she can get whatever she wants? Or is this things that Gustang is going to grant to her? Because Gustang is not a multiversal being where he can just say, hey, here's the thorn. Like, he can't do that. So it depends on the scale of power that he's drawing from. So if that's the case, I would probably ask for Rachel to have maybe something that increases her ability to defend herself, because she's a liability. So let's just say that, like, we know, like, the armor, like the armor of the fish thing that Gustang attached to her was like kind of protecting her and shit. So if she has something like that, that's kind of like a blue Threса, like a shield, cool. She needs something like that to protect her. She needs something that also can give her a sneak attack, a cheap attack. So if she could, let's just say she could use Emily in a way to, like, hack a camera and place like a fake, like, and I'm going all the way out there, guys, because you're asking about wishes, so I can get really creative with this. Let's just say that Rachel can create a Shinsu soldier that can, like, shoot guns or something like that. I would have her have that kind of ability where she could have, like, robotic soldiers or like a Shinsu soldier that she can place to help her fight. So, for instance, in this whole thing with it, when she's dodging Endorsi and stuff, if she could, like, summon a couple of, like, fake Shinsu soldiers who could, like, shoot Shinsu from guns or something like that, that would have saved her from Endorsi chasing her type shit. So she needs some type of utility that allows her to attack, but it's like disposable, if you understand what I'm saying, that she can constantly use. So I think that would be a cool tool, so something that defends, something that helps her, like, that's disposable, that she can use. Like, in the wing, like Wing Nam's, like, Pokeballs that he throws, they're disposable things that he can recreate, right? So she needs something that's more durable and more reliable that she can use. And then I would just say the last thing would probably be an elixir. So, meaning an elixir that can save her life. Meaning that it's basically a extra life. So if Rachel gets hit with, like, let's just say she gets hit with a piercing technique that almost kills her, she has an extra life. Something that brings her back to full health. Those are, like, the 3 things. Like, all these things have to be related to, like, her ability to survive. So that's what I would say she would use if I had to, that's what I would want her to have if it was me. The things you had to fight in a white space, he should have had them disrupt, or we should have had seen people's reactions. Yeah, seeing people's reactions to the fight would have helped too. Well, Traumery and Gustang aren't really close in combatant, so I don't blame them. The art in this arc wasn't stable. Some are drawn by the assistant, and some are obviously drawn by CU. Correct. You can tell when they're not properly drawn. So many fights in the season didn't have a conclusion. Caliban versus Libala didn't even have an end. Yeah, you're right, Zeno. If we're talking about the season as a whole, there were too many draws. Way too many draws, okay? So that's just not satisfying enough. And that's kind of what leads to a lot of power scaling conversations that fucking annoy me, because people will say, well, this person could have won the fight. And like, even I was saying that, like, technically Gus Dang could have won the fight against Traumary using Blossom's Flame. Like, he would have pierced and killed him if Urek didn't exist. But I wouldn't say that if it was just a clear winner or loser that they're going to win the fight. So you create that kind of dynamic of shit when you don't pick clear winners and losers. People are just going to use things that they saw in the past. Well, for the majority of the fight, Traumary was dominating and using cooler shit, so he's the better fighter. Okay, like, but I mean, I can also use the argument, like, towards the end of the fight, Traumary's about to lose, but because there's no clear winner, we're in a circular argument here. You understand? So it's like you can't keep doing that, right? So season 3 has had that problem with no clear winners and losers. Maybe the small Shinra Ryu ship that Yura had has to be one of her three wishes. Okay, I can see that. I don't understand why CU gave Trom an OP ability like Disconnect and Gusting has nothing. Honestly, Faith, if I had to say, I think the primary thing that between Gusting and Traumery, I think it was a matchup problem. Okay? They don't match up against each other well. That's how I feel about it. Because understand, Traumery knows how Gusting fights more than anybody, just like Gusting knows how Traumery fights. However, Traum hid a lot of shit, okay? He hid the dragons. Disconnect is an ability he rarely used to fight, so we didn't get to see it. And then that grand scale monster is not something he's really used before. So against other people, I think Gusting fares a lot better, because understand, like, his fire that he uses that we've seen him burn people with, it's a key ability, but he has to understand how people work and how they fight. So he was unable to burn Disconnect and Traumery's animals and shit because he doesn't know how they're built and how they're made. But against somebody like, I'm not saying I understand how Yura or Hindolock Blood Matter's abilities work, but let's just say, like, Blood Matter, one of Blood Matter's key abilities, right, is that he could put up a giant defensive shield that blocks almost everything. If Gusting understands how it works, he burns it and it's less effective, right? Like, and then if we understand how Gusting book works, right? Gusting's book works upon things that he creates from it. It's basically like it's kind of like another way to say Pokemon. It's kind of like, it's similar to Traumery's, but he can summon things from his book. But Traumery's disconnects things that aren't attached to his Shinsu. So being that those animals and shit aren't attached to Traumery Shinsu, you send a wall of disconnect towards it, it destroys it. Against somebody more simple, like, assuming that we know how high, if we assume that Yura fights similar to Yuri, they're more upfront and personal, punching people type of thing. They're going to have to punch and eliminate Gusting's things that he summons. So like the Unos thing, the big air sucking god, they have to punch and destroy him. But it's not going to be as simple as just hitting him with a disconnect. You have to get towards him. You have to find a way to strategically dodge, like, or getting with it without getting sucked in. Like, but Traumery's ability disconnect just deletes everything that Gusting can really do. So to me, it was just a matchup issue, more than anything else. I think Gusting has a bag. It's just that the matchup wasn't in his favor, and that's why he needed the Oakbee. That's why the Oakbee was so important, because the stuff that he would normally be able to do, he can't do. He has to get physical with Trom, which is what he did. He got up in his face. He smacked him with the Oakbee and shit. He has to get up in his face. That's like, if you had to say what Traumery's weakness is in the fight, it's physicality. It's physicality. So Gusting knew that, and he used everything that he could to get physical for somebody who's not a physical fighter. So, that's one of the things I was, like, less critical of when people say, like, Gusting's not impressive. Well, I understand Gusting's bag isn't fit to fight somebody like Traumery. So he did what he could do, which I'm okay with, right? So that's just me. I left this fight feeling less impressed by Gusting. He's almost a fraud watch. I laughed when he added V to his hit list. Again, I just gave my opinion on that. So, take what you will from that. Yeah, but Gusting was about to win. I think so too. It was pretty clear, right? Been aged since I joined the stream. What's the topic? Oh, Daniel, the topic is we're talking about the best chapters of Tower of God for the war arc. So Tower of God's war arc was 551 to 651. So I asked everybody to post in the community tab on my channel or in the Discord. Post your favorite chapter, your least favorite chapter, and your favorite art panel. Okay, that's what this stream is about. But we're just going into stuff about. We're just talking about stuff throughout the arc right now that we don't particularly like. Things that were very questionable. Like the Traumarie and Gusting fight overall was like not very satisfying. If you ask me, it was like middle of the pack, decent. Like it had moments, it lived on moments, but overall it wasn't cohesively good. But without an OP ability like Disconnect, how Gusting can win against strongest characters like Coon, Family Head, and White. Because Gusting can summon shit though. Like he has the same bag that Traumarie has in a way where he can summon shit. So granted, Edgewon is somebody who's lightning fast and probably can destroy shit quickly. Summoning something along the lines of Uonos, who's giant and strong, it's going to be a little bit of a tougher task for something like that for Edgewon to destroy. But for again, ability like Disconnect, you just send it towards it and it's destroyed. So. Dan Mark, you still defend the fraud, Gus. Hey, man, leave Gus alone, man. But okay. All right, guys. So, I've asked you guys to post your favorite chapters and stuff in the community tab or in the Discord. So if you haven't, please do it now. But I'm going to get into my favorite chapter, okay? All right. So, what is my favorite chapter of this war arc? What is my favorite chapter? Chapter 630. Chapter 630. Surprisingly enough, for somebody who riding with Gusting, when Gusting got his head flopped off, this is my favorite chapter. This is overall my favorite chapter throughout this entire war arc, gang. Okay? I love this chapter because I got almost everything in this chapter. Everything in this chapter, gang. Everything, okay? Everything. Alright? So, I don't know if you guys remember this chapter. But I'll slowly go through it, right? And I'm going to put a filter on this because I am going to go through it. But let me put a little filter on it real quick before... I gotta make it not so legible. Not so legible. Give me a second. We'll add a little sippy tone there. And we'll also add a little bit of a give me a second. Sorry, I am gonna be showing this on screen, so I do wanna adjust it a bit so it's not completely like showing. Yeah. All right, I think that's good enough to be okay. All right, so chapter 630. So I don't know how many of you guys remember, but I'm gonna go through it. Okay, so don't worry still about it. So chapter 630. This is the chapter where we got the flashback of Gusting and Traumarie, where Traumarie's talking about how the animals got killed, and he was very upset about it. This is where like we can see his nature in like full form about how much he cares about animals compared to people. I think this chapter really spoke to his character, and basically, I think you guys are crazy, and I'm gonna say I think you guys are crazy if for any chapter that you pick for your favorite chapter, if it doesn't contain a flashback in it, you're insane. I'm sorry. The flashbacks were so good. Like that is one of the massive pluses about this entire war arc is the flashbacks. They were so good. Okay, there's not a flashback that I can complain about. They were all really fucking good. So, um, we got to see his real nature about how he felt about this. Um, and like you could even say like at this point this may have been where he discovered his dream. Like you could like them slaughtering the animals here is really kind of could have been the place where he decided like, yo, I'm going to create an all encompassing being that that's not only strong but like can't be discriminated against and abused. Like you can say like this is like the thing that could have triggered it right here, right? um and I find this to be a little funny that he said he won't be lonely here, right? And we know that like he says at the when he dies, like you know uh, I will say going back to read a lot of these chapters now are like a lot of them are a lot better because we know what happens beforehand. But I kind of use like if I'm when I'm rating what my favorite chapter was, I'm only sprinkling in a little bit of that. So we can't pretend that we don't know what we currently know now, right? So I hope you guys use a little bit of discernment when you're picking your favorite chapters. Um, I have to remember how the chapters made me feel in the moment because they go week to week. So this chapter made me feel fantastic. Like this is one of the chapters I believe I rated 10 out of 10. It was really, really fucking good. I think I had a pretty long review about it too. This was a great chapter overall. But even going back to see it and how it relates to how the things ended, we know that the last thing that Tromri said before he died is that I feel lonely. So even seeing this right now, it's just like it's super changes how his character developed over time, right? Like so very good, right? Um so ooh, sorry. Little back spasm right there. Um uh so so yeah, this is where Tromri kind of says screw everybody else, we'll burn them all. Like this is like family head level Tromri right here, right? And so he's using the Shinwari Ryu to take the souls of the dead animals and stuff. But you know me, right? You know who my favorite character in Tower of God is, right? You know who my favorite character is, right? Zahard. We got Zahard in this chapter, okay? Anytime there's a Zahard mention or anything, the chapter's a 10 out of 10, gang. Okay? It's a 10 out of 10 automatically for me. It's no question about it. Zahard, if Zahard's mentioned, it's a 10, okay? We got Zahar in this chapter. Easy 10 for me. Easy 10 for me. Despite all of that, the chapter was still really fucking good. But easy 10 for me. Like Zahar, and we get to see the nature of how Zahar got to Tromari, right? Like, look at this, bro. Look at this, bro. He puts his hand on his hand. He puts his hand on his hand to try to relate to Tromari's fucking trauma right now. Zahar is a master manipulator, bro. It is insane to read this now. Like, look at this shit. We know we know Zahar he don't move like this, bro. He don't truly believe what he's doing. He is manipulating the fuck out of Tromari right now. And it is a tragedy to watch this. But it's so good. Like, Bro, what? Yo, this is amazing. Do you remember the day we pulled the lever? Okay, the lever. You know what the lever is? The lever is the day that they became family heads. Okay, it's the day that they chose to become kings. Okay, that's the lever. Remember the helplessness we felt? Oh no, excuse me. I'm incorrect about that. The lever is the day. It's when Tromri pulled the lever to kill those people. Excuse me, I'm incorrect about that. It's not what I just said. When Tromri pulled the lever to kill those people and to save basically themselves. Because in that situation, you remember who the people were in that room, right? It was Zahard, Tromari, Gustang, and who else was it? V? It was V. It was V. So this, like, he's relating to him all the way back then. Remember that helplessness we felt, where the self-loathing and the guilt they felt about killing those people, where we've lowered countless levers since then. So basically saying the nature of them, of how they've changed as they climb the tower. We've killed so many people, pulling so many different levers, having to sacrifice everybody else's life since then. And that's so good. Like, it shows like how the tower really gets to you, right? Like, being in this environment gets to you. How it changes you, right? Sorry, let me read you a couple of you guys. Zahard is weak screaming because he was trapped. Hey, yo, leave Zahard alone, Kaneko. No Zahard slander in here. Yeah, anywhere there's Zahard, the story gets more interesting, especially the trash can chapter flashback. Yep. Will be really funny if Zahard truly cared about his friends, but just us that misunderstood him. I hope that's not the case, Daniel. Yeah, it was Yi-Rang and V. But yeah, they talk about like how many people they've had to sacrifice since then. Each time we do so, we can't let ourselves be swayed by our emotions. Okay? Which is making them more and more heartless. Because that's what evil people do. They prey on the guilt of the good people. Remember, Chamari, from now on, we're the very embodiment of absolute good. That's how corrupted they became. That's how corrupted you become when you're somebody in power. You believe that every decision that you make is the right decision and everybody else is wrong. That's, yo, I love it. That's the twisted nature, and it gets shown here. That's how they really became who they became. Like, I absolutely love it. I love it. So good. So my boy Gustang died this chapter, right? Like, he died in the previous chapter, but he got smacked. And here's Tromri, saying that I don't feel bad for killing you. Doesn't matter, Gustang, blah, blah, blah. And, everybody's like, I remember the community. Oh, Gustang's cooked. He got his head blown off. Tromri won the fight. Blah, 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 blah. I remember that whole thing. Everybody was giving me shit about that. And I told y'all, motherfuckers. I told y'all that Gustang was coming back strong, okay? And he got revived, okay? We got to see this blood oath thing, which is another really, really cool aspect, because anytime, I don't know if you guys are like me, but anytime we get things that are outside the normal shit that gives us more world building technology type of shit, I love it, okay? So when we get to see shit like a blood oath that they made that can bring Gustang back to life, used by something called the Scales of Judgment and a judge, like, it goes into the creativity of the technology and the weapons and the artifacts and shit that exist in the tower. That shit is cool. It's just cool. Like, it's no other way to put it but cool. It's just cool as fuck. So I love this shit. Like, I love anything that's just cool shit, bro. It's no other way to put it. It's just like, wow, this is some real, like, cool ass shit that's in the story, So, with this, the oath examines the absolute truth, and this is when we can dig into Tromari's past. So this was like a really cool, creative way for us to go into to Tromari's and Gustang's past to look at, like, things that they've done. And even this judge, the judge's art is really cool. This guy, cool as hell. Just look at him. Cool as fuck, right? Just looking at him, cool as fuck. Even the design of the judge is cool and badass. Yeah, it's just cool as fuck just to look at. Like, just dope shit, bro. Like, love it. Nothing that I can say. It's just looking at it, it's just dope, right? Long time no see, Tromari. Like, all this characterization, and was it you who murdered Gustang? Like, the feeling that it gives. I love this chapter, bro. I love this chapter so much. And so now we can look into the past, right? And we get to see the young family heads. Look at Edjuan and Zahard, bro. Jumping in the mix, bro. Jumping in the mix of shit, bro. Love it. Look how cool that is, yo. Like, the young versions of them just hopping in the mix of shit, bro. Like, who didn't like that? Like, come on, man. So like even with that, and we get to see Yi-Rang using her powers that against the robot, the endless onslaught of robots. And then you see Gustang and Traumery, and it gives that sense of feeling like they're the guys that are left behind, right? These are the two that need the most help, who have to stay together to basically get through most of the shit, right? Like that's kind of the feeling it gave me. I don't know about y'all, but like if you look at like any like if we go back to look at like previous TV shows and shit in anime, like Gustang and Traumery are like that dynamic duo who are good together but ass apart, okay? That's what this kind of gave. It kind of gave that kind of feeling, right? So I love it. I love it. Like, and I'm like these two are like the runts of the group, right? So we get to see them and they discover their own path, right? They fall in, they discover their own path. Let's go check it out. Gustang seems more when you get dynamic duos like this, there's always one more adventurous than the other. The other one's the one that's questioning everything, like, hey man, maybe we should think about this before we do it. That's Traumery, right? Gustang's like, nah, let's go adventure. We should be the ones to go discover this. Like, that's Gustang. Love it, bro. It's super duper like common in a lot of stories, but it's also like it's good writing. It's relatable. Like I've seen this kind of stuff before, but in how it's done really good. So, they discover this, and then you have Yi-Rang pop up, and then we get to understand more Yi-Rang and what kind of person she was, right? The type who's scolding people for going too far and doing too much, and she's a fiery head type who's arguing. And they're getting chased by robots, so they have no choice but to jump into this, right? And then, we got all of this where they meet the God of Guardians, which was also really cool, having to see him and where his origins come from. And then, of course, the last and most important thing about this entire chapter, the reveal of V, bro. The reveal of V. That was the chapter was already fucking good. But then we got the reveal of V. Best chapter, bro. Best chapter of the war arc by far to me. But contender for best chapter of season 3, bro. Contender for best chapter of season 3, if you ask me. If you ask me, contender for best chapter, bro. So fucking good. Not only did we get a flashback, did we get Zahard, did we get a little bit of death, a little bit of adventurous. We got the reveal of one of the most anticipated characters in the series. Best chapter, bro. I'm sorry. For me, best chapter, bro. Best chapter. So, that's my best chapter, guys. 630 was too good. Too good. Too very good, man. So yeah. That's it for me, okay? All right. Now, I do have to show you guys my favorite panel, okay? I do have to show you guys my favorite panel. Give me a second, because I almost forgot what chapter it is. And you guys actually won't believe what my favorite art panel is. You actually probably won't believe it. You guys actually probably won't believe it. I forget what chapter it's on, but I know it's my favorite like art panel because it's not even just the art of it. it's also like the nature of what it is. And I actually don't have to pull out the whole chapter to see it. But what chapter did he come in? Let me see what chapter did he come in? Okay, got it. What chapter is this? No, that's incorrect. Hold on, I'll pull it up real quick. Chapter 192. Is that 609? Yes, it is. Okay. So, I'll show you guys. It's chapter 609. My favorite art panel. My favorite art panel. It is not only just because of the art, right? It's not just because of the art. It's not just because of the art. It's because of what it is and how it was done. You know what my favorite art panel is? It's my man Jumbo. It's my man Jumbo. I fucking love Jumbo, bro. Like, I love this so much. This was the best thing, like, I saw, like, that just stuck with me through the entire season. It was so good. Like, it's what it is. It's a martial arts fucking elephant. Not only that, he was giving Dumas the fucking business, okay? He cracked Dumas's chest open, okay? I loved Jumbo and his art. Like, bro, the art with Jumbo, my favorite panel. Like, whatever art that can, and it's mainly that one when he's hopping in. But the art with Jumbo, bro, yo, I love, like, this is that one is the one where he's jumping in. But yo, I love Jumbo in his art, bro. I absolutely fucking love Jumbo. Like, he was crack, bro. I love Jumbo, bro. I'm so sad how he got done. Like, he got done so bad, yo. Ripping off his trunk is so crazy. Yo, Dumas did him so insane, bro. Dumas did him so bad. That shit, like, I felt so bad for it because he's so cold. Like, he's yo, he's so cool, yo. Like this is like when we get to when I talk about creativity. Like, this was it. Like, this is the peak of creativity, bro. Like, martial arts elephant who absolutely gave Base Dumas the business. Like, was giving Base Dumas the business. I love this, bro. I love this so much. And even with this, like, this little filter I got on it, it looks so cool in this filter right now. Like, I would frame this and hang this up on my wall. How cool this looks right now. Like, I absolutely love it, bro. I absolutely love it, bro. So that's my favorite art panel, guys. Jumbo was cool as shit. His concept was cool as shit. His panels of fighting Dumas was cool as shit. Like, rest in peace, Jumbo. You only lasted a chapter, but you were fucking cool. Very memorable for me. Okay. So let me read a couple of y'all comments. If I was the family head and saw that Zahara let Gus kill Tron and did nothing, personally, I would look at the guy and say, "You call yourself a king." I agree with you, Kaneko. I agree with you. Absolute family hit immunity status. Um, break your curse, give Emily a body. Number 3, special royal guards made for her. Imagine him. Okay, so that's for the 3 wishes. Got you. V reveal chapter was hyping at the end of the flashbacks. Yep, yeah, really good. I read the jump stuff. Can we talk about how the violent Poe beat out are to animals? Tiara and Dumas are certified animal haters. Facts. I agree. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck. They was crushing animals left and right. Like Dumas was crushing those koi fish like it was nothing. Jumbo greater than Jen Saw. Shout out to Jumbo, man. All right. So let me get into my worst chapter, right? So my worst chapter, I believe I chose, because I looked this up the other day when I was going back to look. Yeah, you guys shouldn't be surprised by this. What my worst chapter is. 2 chapters before this, chapter 611. I hated this chapter. And I still hate this chapter. Chapter 611. Bomb, Rack, and Khun versus fucking Dumas. Okay? I hated this chapter. And I still dislike this chapter. Okay? We're not even going to get into the spell thing. But one of my biggest criticisms of this chapter was Bomb challenging Dumas. I to this day, I don't fucking understand it. I still don't understand it. Because why don't I understand it? Khun told Bomb in this chapter, why would you come after me when Dumas is here? Like, are you fucking crazy? Like, are you crazy? Like, why would you come after me when Dumas is here? Bomb lost to Dumas when he had Jin Song, Karaka, and Yama fighting with him. They lost to Dumas with 3 high rankers. Y'all lost to Dumas with 3 high rankers. Why the fuck would y'all challenge him with Khun and Rack? Huh? I still don't understand this. Insane. In fucking sanity, bro. I don't understand the choice to fight Dumas here. I don't. And you're not going to convince me to fight. You're not going to convince me, bro. You're never going to convince me that this was a good idea. For them to challenge him here. This was a good idea. Dumas, who Khun just watched pack up 2 branch heads with like it was nothing? He one-shotted 2 branch heads. Why the fuck would y'all fight him? Bruh, this was so tilted. Like, bro. No. Oh, they had a choice. Run. Emisk, run. Run away. Use all you can do and run away, bro. Do not fight him. You do not fight somebody like this. Because in all honesty, and we know how strong Dumas is now, he could have packed them all up in a second if he chose to. If he wasn't trying to, like, if he was resisting damaging them, we know he could have stuffed them all into a fucking pillow if he felt like it. This was an insane choice. You run from this. You don't fight this. But Rack is edging him on. Rack is edging him, is telling him to fight this fight, bro. I can take care of myself. Don't worry about me. Bro, what? Yo, you don't fight this fight, bro. You don't fight this fight. Like they no, bro. You don't fight this fight, bro. He transformed at the branch. Stop being so negative, Turtle. We haven't even fought him yet, bro. You don't fight this fight, 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 bro. I understand what you're saying, Emisk, that like they were kind of in a space where they kind of had to defend themselves type shit. but you prioritize escaping. You don't prioritize trying to defeat him. Like, they were trying to defeat him. Like, understand, as this fight went on, Bomb got fucking packed in a second, okay? Bomb got packed. He got packed, and he got packed fast. This Sweet Fish shit, you already know the Sweet Fish is kind of a bullshit piece of shit that gets used for situations where it's impossible to win. So I already have a disconcern for the Sweet Fish. You know, but it wasn't like Khun was using the Sweet Fish to trap Dumas and run away. They were trying, he said, I'm going to blow your body up using your own power, and the Sweet Fish absorbs his power. Which, by the way, we still don't know what happened to Khun. We still don't know what happened to Khun's heart and what happened to him. Can we say that Khun absorbed way too much energy from Dumas because how powerful he was, and it overloaded his heart and killed him? Yeah, maybe we can say that, but we don't know what actually happened to Khun after he did this. We don't know what happened to him. But this was a shitty choice. Like, look at this. Look, pull out the red thruster, swipe, easy dodge. He's so fast. Like, bro, have you not seen him pack up your master and Yama? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And then we got this bullshit spell that I felt like was bullshit. This spell that Khun happened to remember that he used with White that was able to trap Dumas. At this point, if this spell is trapping Dumas, bro, have Rat grab Bomb and y'all get the fuck up out of there. Y'all get the fuck up out of there. But trying to detonate it and destroy him and ultimately fuck yourself up while trying to fight him, no. Bad choice. I hated this chapter because it was mostly them trying to fight Dumas when it wasn't even a fight. It wasn't close. And they actually thought that they could kill him. Like understand. Khun actually thought he could kill Dumas, bro. Yo. Is Dumas dead? Is Dumas dead? Is Dumas dead from you and your little spell? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, bro? No, I'm sorry. They look like clowns, bro. They look like fucking clowns, bro. They look like clowns, bro. This does not. And I think even more so, like, I hated the chapter when it came out, but I think even more so when you go back and look at it now, it looks so fucking stupid to me right now. Like, it looks so stupid to me that they really tried to challenge Dumas. Like, it looks really, really dumb. So for me, this was an easy shoe-in for worst chapter. I appreciate more so everything that happened kind of afterwards. That was kind of decent. But I hated it, bro. I hated it, bro. So, you said he was very manipulative, or he's just very bad at console people nowadays. Why do you think he didn't go to the wedding? He knew that it was going to happen. Khun and Rak need to get packed up if they keep acting brain dead. I'm cold, AA 2024. Sorry, but I have to defend my glorious king. Hey, that's okay, man. The fact that spells work, that the spell works on Dumas as well is annoying. AA can't take out any irregular ranker and most high rankers with it. I'm saying though, it felt so cheap, bruh. It felt so cheesy. Like, to watch that happen. Like, you know, like Dumas is packing up branch leaders with no sweat, bro. With no fucking sweat, bro. He's packing up branch leaders like it's nothing. And to watch this happen, it's just like, yo, are we like, see you? I know you're not trying to get us to understand that this trio is on par with two branch leaders, like, because they're fucking not. They're not. If this was a fight between Raccoon and if it was a fight between Raccoon versus and Bomb versus whatever her name was with the water gun and what was the dude named Dump with the elephant, they lose that fight. They lose that fight. Bomb and them lose that fight, bro. They lose that fight. Okay? If anything, it comes out at a stalemate. If anything, it comes to a stalemate. If anything, it comes to a stalemate. But they definitely don't overwhelm them or body them. Because Bomb was having trouble with the other branch leaders. See, he's having trouble with branch leaders, bro. So they're not packing up nobody. So the fact that this fight was even like the bullshit at the end felt real bullshitty. And it felt like a really, really bad decision. And I still stand by that. So yeah, that's my worst chapter of the year. Of the war arc, excuse me, not the year, the war arc. Worst chapter, bro. So 609 for me. So, all right. I'm moving on now. I'm gonna move on to y'all stuff now. Okay. So that requires me to go to the Discord. So let me pull the Discord up. Let me pull the Discord up. In this chapter, Rack should have been in his ancient form. I don't understand why Stu keeps using the unconscious whenever they transform it. Is annoying. I honestly would have preferred Rack go to his unconscious form during that fight. It would have made for a better actual standing in the fight. You know. Okay. Civil War. All right. So we don't have too much to go on, but that's okay. I'm not sweating it. That's not what I'm doing this for. So Discord. Where is it? Where is it? Can't find it. Interesting. Give me a sec. Yeah, I don't know if I wanted to show like that though. Yeah, I don't know if I wanted to show that way. Yeah, I probably don't want it to show that way. Let's make another source. Make another source and pull it up. Add a new source type. There it is. Okay, source wasn't showing. I got it. Okay. So we got it up now. All right, so we're starting with Zenu here, and I'll make this a little bit more seeable here. All right, so Zenu. So Zenu says, my favorite chapter of the Great Encounter saga in season 3 is chapter 616, Trauma Race Pass, number 1. I don't know how to describe the feeling I got from this chapter other than nostalgia for a time I've never experienced. There was a really unique atmosphere to this chapter that resonated with me. Also, I lost my shit when Hedon suddenly appeared and talk for the first time since the end of season one. So this is a contender for me for a top five chapter. This was a top five for me. I know what chapter you're talking about exactly. It's the one where Hedon comes to with his hand down, where he's coming to see where when he's coming to meet Enkidu. This was a really good chapter, and it's one of the flashbacks. Got to be. I'm telling you, you guys are crazy if you don't choose a flashback chapter to be. Like, I'd be surprised if there's a chapter besides the Urek and Lust Like fight that's as good as the flashbacks. Like, you fall asleep or something. Who beat out Gustang? We got to see Gustang. This is right, in the this was like the first like really like real flashback that we got, right? Like this was the first real one that we got, and we got to see Traumerey and Gustang's friendful nature, how they were in the early stages. Look how young his floating ship is, floating palace, the earlier version. Like, this was really cool. Like, it was really cool. I personally hate the fact that Coon bullshit his way into fucking armor. Not to mention they don't know what can happen if they go in there. He said he actually done. Yeah, I agree, Sleepy. It. I'm not gonna go back into it, but I agree with you. Okay. So my favorite moment of the Great Encounter saga is when Traumerey outwitted AA. Oh, that's your favorite moment. Okay. All right. So before we get into the great moment, I do want to just look over this chapter real quick. So yeah, this was the chapter where we got to see like the past Gustang and Traumerey. This is like post climbing the tower, becoming family heads. This is where we got to meet Anne Wees and who she was. She gets mentioned. Traumerey actually has a love interest. We get an introduction to Enkidu. Enkidu was created by the Great Master, which we can assume is Maxeth, and he's like following Traumerey around, copying people. It felt I get what Zenu means. Like, it felt like it felt kind of innocent in a way, in a little bit, right? Like watching Enkidu's like beginning nature and Traumerey is kind of like this, like, we know what their nature is inside, but he kind of looks here like a guy who's kind of just like, he looks super duper young, but he just looks like he's living with his family. We don't know about, at this point in the story, we didn't know about what he was doing with the experiments. Maybe at this point we think he's breeding, he's building his family up, he's military related stuff. Like, even look at the red lights. Look at the red lights. Look at the pre-red lights. Look at the red lights. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. But yeah, this chapter was really good. And then further on, but after their adventure came to an end, two of the Great 13 left the rest in the group because of a conflict of opinion. Many of their helpers left with them and turned their backs on remaining 11 people as well. So look, even here we get the V and Zahar, V leaving the group. This was back when we didn't even refer to them as family leaders yet. Even they gradually became to grow apart each other as they set out to achieve their own goals. Like, it was only much later they established their own completely independent family. Yeah, this was dope. And then we get to see Hedon hype. Hedon hype is on par with Zahar hype, okay? Hedon hype is on par with Zahar hype. So, yeah, Hedon popping up, talking to Enkidu. I love it. This was a great chapter. This panel right here was my thumbnail. Such a good panel. Look at the grin. All must do is steal a person's body. Look at this. So it was good, man. It was a really good chapter. Yeah, I agree with you. Saying top chapter easily. But my favorite moment of the Great Encounter saga is when Traumerey outwitted AA when they played chess in 572. So it really sets the tone for what kind of person Traumerey is and how he operates. Yes, that was a moment. So for those who don't remember that moment, so in 572, Khun thought that he outwitted Traumerey during their chess match. Okay, so they're playing chess, and Khun got cooked in chess. But Kun is running his lighthouse 5 minutes behind, or was it 5 minutes behind, or is it 30 seconds behind? I forget what it is. So while they're watching it, it looks like all this is happening in real time while they're playing chess. And Kun thought that he won against Traumery, right? He thought that he played him because he was replaying something that was a little old. But Traumery is laughing at him like bro, what? Like bro, what did you thought you outwitted me, little man? Like like look at this. What's going on? The gate is closed. Like they're gone. This isn't what I saw on the screen. There's no one here. Yep, you're seeing that right. The people on that gate you saw on the screen, they're already gone before the chess ended. But there was still time left. Oh, I lied about that. What about the live feed of the lighthouse? What I was showing you was was a delay of 2 minutes, so you wouldn't look outside the door. I only needed to last about 4 minutes against you. Remember what I said? I didn't need the last 5 minutes in order to win. I just had to avoid losing the chess game until the door closed. But it appears that I won this showdown. And look at him! Look at him! Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't even have it on screen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm reading this. Look at him. Look at this man. Look at this man. He looked like he think he won. He legit thought he won. Flexing. Like, I got you, Traumery. I got you. I got you. Fam. 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 Let me serve you some humble pie real quick. Isn't that right? You think you won the showdown. You fool. I told you I would track down the traitor regardless of the outcome of the showdown. And I said that the results of the showdown would be nullified if you interfered in any way. If you're going to deceive people with your tongue, you should keep your ears open as well. Did you really think I was unaware of the traitor and their escape plans? I already know who the traitor is and how they plan to escape. The reason that I let them, despite knowing all that, is because I was waiting for the traitors to reveal themselves. While you were focused on the showdown with me, the branch leaders were hunting down the traitors and your friends. Are you wondering why I, the family leader, played along with your little game despite knowing everything from the very start? Because I enjoy this kind of thing. Look at this. This how far you are from where you want to be. This how far you are for you where you want to be, little man. You are in my shadow, okay? That bastard, like right now, he's the most twisted person. He's twisted because he outwitted you, bro. He's twisted because he outwitted you, bro. Fantastic. That chapter was gas. Okay, that hyped Trump. That showed Traumery's like real intuition and his brain and a bit twisted. Like really, really good. Like Kun being outwitted, love it. Really great moment. That was a great moment, Zenu, for sure. A great moment. Um, Common AAL. It was a chapter that made me more interested in Traumery. Not many people that can fool that. Vakan Kun. Yeah, it was great, bro. It was really. This was a great moment. I don't think anybody can dispute that. That was a moment. Yeah, I almost forgot about it. So good one, definitely good one there, Zanu. Going back to the Discord. My least favorite chapter of the Great Encounter saga is season 3, chapter 587, Hajin Song versus Dumas. This chapter irritated me when I realized I don't like Jin Song and I thought the fight with Dumas was dog shit. There are worse characters than this, but it irritated me so much. I had the lowest ranking out of any chapter review I did on Mark's channel. I gave it a 4. Fuck, did you? Fuck. Something I noticed is that Dumas, a character I really like, is in my least favorite chapters. Yeah, let's go visit 587. Let's go visit 587 real quick. So if you guys don't remember, this is the chapter where everybody was getting this fight where Karaka got packed up. The fight where Karaka got fucking packed. Oh my god, bruh. I loved that moment But overall, this fight wasn't it. Jin Song, like in the grand scheme of things that we now that we know, Jin Song cannot touch Dumas. Jin Song can't touch Dumas at all. Like now that we know how truly strong Dumas is, Jin Song can't touch him. And we understand that Jin Song's arms are still broken or whatever, and he's trying here. But um, this was like, and I did like his ability to manipulate the spears and make them crash and stuff. That was cool. But we like Dumas didn't really do too much himself. Like it's really just spear movement. He's dodging and punching, but he's not really moving. He's not really in the fight. Like Dumas doesn't like he's trying that hard. And even when he did, he still is able to pierce Jin Song. So in the grand scheme of things, like Bomb and Jin Song kind of feared the same. Like they kind of turned out the same against Dumas. Like it was really nothing to him. You know, the Dragon Tiger Gate was a thing, and he did crack the armor. We can give him that. He did crack the armor doing the Dragon Tiger Gate, and that's like you can give him props for that. But we know how that Dumas has other forms that are stronger than that. So like while the move was impressive and it kind of did a little something, overall it didn't mean shit, bro. It didn't mean shit like at all. Dumas went on his way to not kill Jin Song per Richmond's orders. True. And that's also a good point. If he wanted to pack Jin Song up, he could have. No problem. No problem. Easy pack. Easy pack. So I agree with Zenu there. I definitely hard agree with you there. Yeah, easy pack, bro. Easy pack. So um my least favorite moment of the great encounter is chapter 607. Rack having the transformation isn't the issue. The souls from White acting as a catalyst for the transformation isn't the problem. Before this moment, Rack had done nothing but simply exist in the background and occasionally snipe people with his spear. There was no build up to the developing of his ancient power or his evolution aside from that being able to fly. Rack just did it out of nowhere. To add insult to injury, he did it because he thought Bomb was going to die, and yet Bomb wasn't really in any danger. I know Rack isn't smart, but he was never as dumb as Rocks. Rack used to have great moments. Rack in season 3 doesn't have any. I absolutely, positively, wholeheartedly agree with Zenu here. This was almost a catalyst for worst chapter, for me. It wasn't a good moment. So pulling up 607, so I'll do that real quick. Um, so if you guys 607 was when Rack did his transformation. I made the critique about it when it happened that Rack's transformation needed to happen years ago, bro. This transformation, there were other moments where their life was at risk in the series early in season 3, even in season 2, where Rack could have transformed and absolutely dominated some shit. But doing it here in the Lobopia versus Pobida war against ultimately fucking nobodies, like that was my whole point. He's doing it against forgettable fucking people who are nobodies. It doesn't mean anything. Like Rag has been needed to power up for a very long time now. But this goes into like the nature of his ancient species and getting to see like how violent they are and like even like the him using the rock shit. It's cool in like the transformation, but the timing of it is ass, bro. It's ass because it's just not a moment that you needed it. Like, and even him like fighting on par with branch heads like was kind of like, okay, you're packing up a branch head here. That's a high ranker. Like you're packing them up in a rage moment. It's kind of like a little bit distasteful. Like Rack has gone almost 7 years without a power up. So it happening here was just unprecedented. It's just not a moment. Like, so I'm with Zenu here. I didn't really enjoy it that much. The forum does look decent enough, but yeah, the only positive form looks cool. Aside from that, it really made me doubt Seal's writing abilities. Yeah, it wasn't the moment, bro. It really wasn't time for this, you know. So yeah, I'm with Zenu here. I didn't enjoy this either. Zenu, I did see that you posted a panel, so I'm gonna skip over to the panel real quick. So Zeno did post this panel. It says, this is his favorite art panel, and it's Traumery. I assume this is him sitting in the garden, on his ship, or it's beautiful. The color, the color here is like so peaceful. I absolutely agree with you how beautiful this is. Oh, my bad. I thought I had it on screen. So this is Zendu's favorite art panel. This is beautiful. It's the color, the different colors of that tan kind of it's almost like a peach color. It's great. It's beautiful, and the green of Traumery's hair, how it stands out. Beautiful art. I love it. So I can definitely see why that's your favorite. It's really well drawn, really well. Um, Probably it's drawn good, but the I think the color is the savior here. Like for me at least, the color scheme here is just really good, really good. Like Siu had to do this himself. Like it's really fucking good. Um, Dumas is freaking scary, and Proust is stronger, and Pobeda is in one of the three strongest families. How strong are the three strongest? It's almost scary how strong two top of the Ari family is. I think Emisk, when we're talking about how strong people are, I think Dumas and Proust and like even Lobadan, they may be top tiers, but it's the overall quality of their army that's the problem. Because the rest of Lobopia and Pobia are kind of like they're kind of dookie, like they kind of suck. But the top tiers are top tiers. So when it comes to like quality and quantity, like a family like the Kuhn family probably has like both. But I think the top tiers like Dumas and Lobadan are those guys. Like I do think they're those guys. So I understand the criticism, but I feel like CU says fuck it, take it out of Lobopia, and I'm with it. I feel that, Evan. I feel that. People went on a massive hate train for Lobopia, so I get it. But yeah, this is beautiful though art though of Zenu. So I totally get it why you would choose that. So thank you for that. I like your chapters. I like your dislike chapters. I agree with you. All right, Kaneko. I know Kaneko's in chat. So Kaneko says, I think my favorite moment is probably the first clash between Trom and Gus. The most iconic scene is when Trom pulls up, flicking off Gus and says, "Even the dust belongs to me." Okay, you gotta. Oh, the first encounter. So when is the first encounter? What chapters are the first encounter? Um, I know Zenu probably knows, but what chapters are the first encounter? That first encounter when Traumery flicks off Gustang, that is a beautiful, well done moment. I absolutely agree with you. What was that? 574. He will type it as soon as I find it. 574. Yep. Gustang. This was cold. I love this part of it. Um I love that part of it. Gustang standing here. I thought this is some cold art. Um but Traumery showing up and calling Gustang trashing his place, and how it's called a landfill. Cutting a cigarette, and how everybody's reacting to it. This is my home. This was a cold panel. Absolutely cold panel. Probably one of the best art panels like for what it is and the art of it, glorious, fantastic, fucking beautiful. Okay. So I get it. This is definitely a moment for sure. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Um, this might be surprising because most people might expect everyone to like the fight. Um, between the family heads. Don't get me wrong, the fight was cool. The only problem for me is that it lacked impact for me because it was not superly emotional invested. Oh, you wasn't superly emotional invested. Okay, I get it. I get it. That's okay. I don't disagree with you there. With the first encounter, it hits big, because this is the first time we see two family heads next to each other, and you can tell that there is a hatred between them. I agree that tension was crazy. Like everybody was losing their mind when they finally met up. I also thought that what Trump said was probably one of the hardest lines in Tower of God. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. This smoking isn't allowed and cutting his cigarette, like you can even see in Gustang's Nate, like he's like salty here, like that's a salty look. He's smiling, saying "ha," but he's salty, and then you see there's like Shinsu and they're heating up and shit. That was a moment, man. That was definitely a fire ass moment. Love it, love it. Really good shit. Really, really good shit. Or for me, it was the moment when Gustang tossed the cigarette. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that whole the tension there was like really really good. My least favorite chapter was the Dumas and Bomb fought the last time. I think that's enough said. I don't even have to pull that up. Um, the Dumas versus Bomb fight was kind of a shit show. Was not overall enjoyable. Um, the last part of it was really kind of like a lot of bullshit going on. A whole lot of Bomb just trying to get to the heart and snipe the heart, and he kind of outplayed Dumas by understanding Dumas's nature and like him getting upset about being damaged. And like, don't get me wrong, it's clever on Bomb's part, but like overall, like most fights are determined by who's stronger than who and who can outthink the other. While Bomb did outthink him, Dumas is leagues above him. So it was a little bit distasteful, like it was. So but for me, I think this arc was a 9 out of 10. Okay, that's a high rating. Hey, man, I'm glad you enjoyed it that much. I am. I'm very glad that you enjoyed it that much. So, thanks for the comment, though. I appreciate you sharing your stuff here. Bad Habit. So I'm actually not sure who Bad Habit is, but thanks for commenting, buddy. I appreciate you joining and giving us your takes. So Bad Habit says, my favorite moment is the introduction of Leslek. Leslek versus Urek. The reveal of he has a couple of them. Okay, so the introduction of Leslek, which I agree. Leslek's introduction when he's laying on the bed, fantastically done. Love it. Um, sorry, my back is starting to bother me a little bit. So I am gonna speed it up a little bit here, guys. My back is starting to bother me. Um, Leslek versus Urek, which was damn sure um legendary, legendary fight. One probably maybe the best fight of the season. The reveal of V, which I already went over, which we know was legendary. V taking over Bomb. V taking over Bomb was a moment too. Was a good and crazy moment. V showing up and looking at everybody from like with his hair growing and everything. That was a very lit moment. So I agree with you. There are some other minor stuff that was awesome too. Um, Traumery versus, i.e., Traumery versus Gusting, Backflash lore, but Leslie versus V stuff, most favorite. Gotcha. I agree. I can't disagree with you there. My least favorite, C rank regulars in the story again. Ooh, sheesh. Okay. Unbelievable ass pulls for power ups for C rank regulars. Kun being able to suddenly use spells that can siphon and use it against Dumas of all people. Yo, I get it, man. The people don't like that shit, bro. I get it. We get it. Trust me, I'm one of those people who agree with you. Rack's ridiculous transformation. Again, I'm with Zenu. The transformation was ridiculous, but the timing of it was, and the moment, like yeah, the timing in the moment, it just wasn't it. And Dorsey arriving in the story for the lame marriage tournament. I mean, but that you can't expect her to miss something like that. Like that's in Dorsey. Like that's what she does. I think in Dorsey's use of bong bong is one of the most fucking ass shit about this entire fucking war arc that we like didn't talk about. Like her use of bong bong was absolutely fucking ridiculous, and CU has got to fix that. I'm sorry, that was one of the most trash ways to have them travel and just get around a lot of bullshit. Like bong bong is an accent, you want to talk about a Deus Ex Machina device that's getting used? Bong bong, disgusting, absolutely fucking disgusting. I hope bro. Like he did a better job towards the end of us not really seeing it, even though her and Kun did jump a little bit. But before that, when she arrived in the hotel and then they're on the battlefield with fucking Lobadan and them, and they're at the book place and they're just using fucking bong bong, bro. The shit was so irritating. Like that was one of the worst things about the fucking war arc, bro. By far one of the worst things. All C rank regulars somehow surviving fights between high rankers. I agree with you. We talked a huge thing about that, about how they shouldn't be able to last in these fights. Besides hating the design of the transformation, he had no reason to defeat her so quickly and easy like that. Its transformation should have been the start of the fight, not the end of it. Yeah, Sleepy. I agree with you, bud. And now the ending of the latest chapter again. Don't care about the princess. Don't care about the princess story or anything related to C rank regulars. Damn. Oh well, I'm not there with you. I'm happy to see the C rank regulars. I understand how some people feel though. It's like when you break a certain threshold, you don't want to backtrack. So it's kind of like I like to make the comparison to Dragon Ball Z a lot. It's like, okay, you seen Goku go Super Saiyan. You don't want to go back to watching Yamcha and Krillin fight, like, after you see Super Saiyan. Like, you want to stay at the crazy level and crazy shit that you see. So, I can understand that, even though it's a little bit unrealistic because those characters play a role that are important throughout the story, but I get what you mean. Arc would have been a 10 out of 10 if it wasn't for the negative name there. But that puts it down to 5 out of 10. Damn! 5 out of 10? That's a stretch, bro. You got to be a little bit more lenient. 5 out of 10 is crazy. The arc was way better than the 5 out of 10. 7 is borderline. I gave it 7.5. 10, 5 out of 10? Fuck. You're a harsh critic, bro. Hey, more power to you, but thank you for the comment. What Rambo said to you? Preference, but I don't mind going back to the other C rank regulars as long as we aren't focusing on Bond too much. Okay, right. Preface for sure. I can't get with the regulars again. We're well past this part of the story now. Bomb is just way too strong to be among them. The test would be ridiculous and one-sided. Bomb would have to go for admin tests since he's obviously high ranker level now and the way out of the league of anyone else. It won't be fair for the other regulars, and now that that's the case, I can't see any reason why we should even bother to see the regulars. Nothing happening with them, and now could be by any relevance to Bomb. I will give you credence to this bad habit. You have a point, and that's one thing that we talked about in the past, is that how do we move on from here? Because Bomb just taking admin tests to climb is kind of like a boring thing that we don't want to watch over and over again because he's high ranker level and everybody else is just playing catch up. So you have to write the story in a way where this is going to be entertaining. So I'm going to give CU his flowers and credence to do that because I think he has the ability to do so. And Bomb isn't with them right now. So it's like Tower God's a long series and we have to give it time. So I'm willing to give it time to let it boil. But I do think if you don't like that stuff, I think you're being a little too critical because of the nature of what Bomb has been told to us from the beginning, that he's an irregular and that he is, like, at least amongst the regulars, a crazy irregular with his growth. So you have to keep that stuff in mind. And I get it. The Lobo versus Pobeda war involves a lot of high rankers and people of that nature. But that's not the overall story and the majority of people in the tower. Like, we only got a sample size of the grand scheme of the tower. So because of the arc, we're going to get exposed to more higher ranked shit. But like, understand that the story is still about climbing the tower, and the main characters that exist that are Rack and Dorsey and Coon, they're not just gonna disappear after that. So you're gonna have to find some semblance to accept that. Um, I'm here for being in regular season again. I think it'll do a lot of good to take a break from the highest stakes of high rankers and family is. I agree. I totally agree. Funny hour. I would be okay with us not seeing Bond for a year real time. That way he becomes more distant like a family head, then develop the other characters. I agree with you, Funny hour. I'm there with you. Yeah. And I like the way it's being done. Like Bomb has been taken away for a legit reason, so it's okay. Even if CU tries to twist it and go with the 13 months, the only relevance would be the key for Bomb, not the people that necessarily have the keys, which is mostly high rankers and rankers anyway, except for Anik and who has the Green April. So Wing Nam, Anik, the rest, they just don't matter at all. Same with Kun and Rag. That's my preference though. Don't really care for any regulars. It's over now. Bomb is playing with the college boys now. No need to keep running back to second graders. That's a harsh critic, man. That's a harsh critic. I can't say that I agree with your take there, but if that's your preference, I gotta respect that. So, all right, all right. So, yeah. So let me check the threads to see if anything posted in any of the community stuff. Oh no, nobody did. Okay. Well then, yeah, that kind of wraps up the stream then, guys. Saying Wingnam and Enigmatter is crazy. I agree with you. That's a harsh take. I don't agree with that take, but yeah. So yeah, that's about it, guys. We only had a few people share their favorite stuff, so I'm sorry. I don't know if the community just wasn't like super duper interested in this, or everybody's busy at this point in time. I could have gave it a bit more time before I started the stream and gave people a few more days to do it, but I got it over with, so that's okay. But thank you guys for who did share. Kanako, Zenu, Bad Habit. Thank you guys for sharing. I don't know if did Sleepy share too? No, Sleepy didn't share. Okay. Well, thank you guys though. This I had a good time talking about the previous chapters and the really good ones. So unfortunately, I probably won't be doing this again. So this was the moment to talk about it. So yeah, that was pretty much it. So guys, have a good weekend. New chapter releases tomorrow. So be in the Discord if you aren't. It's on the community tab if you need to join it, but we'll be talking about the new chapter when it drops, so that'll be lit. Thanks to you guys for watching who stayed in here. I think I had 7 steady people, so thank you for the 7 who stayed and watched. And I'll see you guys in the Discord.